This week, we're diving into a classic wellness topic, and that topic is body image. I'm Quinn.
And I'm Drew.
And this is The Year We Got Better.
Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, Quinn and I are on a 52-week journey to improve our holistic wellness, and we're taking you along with us.
We are. And as always, we are going to kind of break down one particular aspect of wellness. And this week, we've decided to focus on body image.
We have.
Why did we pick this topic?
I think it's so important to so many people, and it manifests in different ways.
It does. I think, I think everybody has their own kind of like body image story, but I kind of want to start out with like the present.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your relationship with your body right now? Like no fixing, no changing, just like from an observing standpoint.
Yeah. And you mean body image or body in general?
I mean your relationship with your body.
Okay. It's honestly a hard question to answer, right? Like, I think I have been going through the process of doing like some blood work recently, and have like just like been seeing some specialists and just trying to like make sure I'm on top of my health in general. So like my physical health is definitely an aspect that I'm like more mindful of at the moment. I think that there's like for lack of a better term, like biological health is like how I'll like categorize that.
Yeah, like medical health.
Medical health, yeah, that's probably a better way to say that. And
no, I know what you're talking about.
And then, I think there's like the physical activity form of like my body being able to do like interesting like physical things,
right?
Which I'm feeling pretty good about. We've been running pretty consistently, and that's made me feel like capable in ways that I necessarily haven't been able to in the past, like running farther consistently than I've been able to in the past, which is pretty cool.
It is really cool.
And then I think there's like the kind of
like
aesthetic, like socially influenced view of like how my body fits into like this expectation of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's the one that like, it depends on the day. Yeah. I think today I'm okay. Today I'm good. Most days I'm good. But I do think that there are certain days where I wake up and I'm like, I wish that I looked different, or I wish that I felt different. That would probably be my answer. What about you?
No, I think that you brought up a really interesting, like the way that you answer that question to me kind of brings up a really interesting point, which is that there are many different like factors that play into body image. And I totally agree with you. Like we've been running on a regular basis, doing exercise and accomplishing, physical like tasks or like feats with my body does make me feel good about my body. And like you said, there's also the medical standpoint, right? Like after a lot of kidney stone adventures and health misadventures, really, last year, I feel like my body is in a better place of like medical wellness.
Yes.
But at the same time, for me, I think the biggest influence on my body image, despite the fact that like I'm so grateful that I am like well right now, like bodily, and I'm so grateful and impressed and excited that we can do these running like kind of physical activity things. I think the biggest thing that still has a huge impact on my body image is like societal expectations and pressures. And so I think for that reason, I would say that my relationship with my body like is kind of turbulent. I think some days I'm like, empowered and confident, and I like the way my body looks. I don't know if I ever love the way my body looks, to be honest. I think it's also worth saying, because this is a auditory like thing that we're putting together, right? This podcast, you're listening to it. Maybe some people are watching the video and looking at me, but a lot of people are just listening to my voice. I think it's worth saying that like my body is not like a standard size necessarily. Like I have a curvy body. I have a rack. And like, like my body is not slim, and it will never be slim, and it never has been slim. And I think there's a lot of pressure, particularly on women, but I do want to like give you a chance to talk maybe about the societal pressures for body image that men face. I think there's a ton of pressure on women to be skinny. And I think for the longest time, like skinny, 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 it's this buzzword, like it's this thing we're always chasing after. But as I get older, and I think many people start to ask, like, is that really what I should be chasing? Is that really the point? So I think that's where I'm at, is that I'm balancing this like learned history kind of feeling bad about my body and being told to feel bad about my body by, society. But also being in this stage of like learning and growth where I'm trying to embrace a new mindset.
Yeah.
Long answer to a short question.
No. I mean, I think that sets us up really well for our conversation today. Why don't we, I want to dive in a little bit to like some of the earliest memories that you have of messaging around maybe not just your body, but bodies in general, and how that's kind of shaped your view ultimately of yourself.
Totally. I mean, I think like if you really want to say earliest messages, I think it's like the images that we see. And that is like women's magazines, but also like visual arts and movies, TV. Like you really don't see a lot of fat women in magazines, movies, or TV. I started reading 17 magazine when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something. And like they would have these articles being like, dress for your body type, right? But like if you went, and I would go and I would say, okay, my body type is curvy. And I would like look at that body type, and it was, how to dress for your body type was basically just about hiding your body if you were in a bigger body. So I think I kind of had these messages that like a bigger body is unattractive and bad, and you want to hide these things that set your body apart from a more slender body.
Yeah.
I also think that the messages we get about like how our bodies look are kind of linked to the messages we get about food and eating. And my mom is also a curvy, beautiful woman, and she was always on a diet. And like, I'm not trying to shade her because she was just as subject to societal pressure and expectations as I was and I am, but she was always on a diet. And so she was always trying to change her body. And now, I've grown up and my body looks a lot more like her body did then, right? And I think that has stuck with me, this like idea that if my body looks like that being bigger, then I need to be working on changing it. So I think those are kind of things that I've carried with me through a lot of my life, and I'm trying to break that cycle, right? But it's definitely easier said than done. I mean, what about you? And I'm wondering if kind of with this question of the early influences, if you can tell us a little more also about maybe like body image for men. So this is a topic that I think maybe gets not enough attention.
Yeah, I've spoken about this topic a little bit in the past on the pod, but I would say like the earliest memories I have of messaging, well, one, I would just acknowledge that like even as a man, I like have memories of being a child and like seeing weight loss things targeted at women. So like even though that wasn't personally affecting me, I was like witnessing it, and like I think it's like kind of bleeding into the consciousness, right?
Yeah.
The greater consciousness of like how society is supposed to be.
Right.
So that is one thing that I just wanted to share.
Yeah.
The other thing I would say is specifically for me around like male body image, I think it starts young.
Yeah.
And I guess looking back on it, the thing that I would point to would be like superheroes.
Okay.
Right. So like these people that you're made to idolize.
Right. They're like aspirational.
Aspirational when you're really young. If you like look at the way that their bodies are put together and that like action figures that I would have, I mean, they have like really cut muscles and like super like strong, and like it's portrayed in a way that's like they're super strong and they're able to do these things, and like that combination together, like they're doing good and they're super strong and they like save the day and everything is perfect. So like
we want to be like that.
And we want to be like that. So I think that's probably the first thing.
I think it's interesting, just to cut in for a second. Like I think you could kind of draw that same parallel with like Disney princesses for women. And I think it's interesting that you bring up like not that, I mean, superheroes are like human and Disney princesses are human, but they're not like real necessarily. And we often see them in cartoons. So I think it's interesting like that it's not just human bodies or like live action bodies, that it's also cartoons and toys and like other things that start really at such a young age to kind of make our image of what your body is supposed to look like what it is.
Well, and I think the state of like the ideal male body has kind of become more extreme
Okay.
over like recent period of time. I don't
Tell me
have
more about that.
what I think the example that I've seen that I think is pretty well articulated is if you look at like Brad Pitt in Fight Club
Okay.
or Tobey Maguire in the first Spider-Man movie,
Mm-hmm.
both like shirtless scenes with actors where like men would look at that and be like, wow, that's a person who's like really in shape.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
if I don't know if you've ever seen Fight Club, but
I
like
have seen Fight Club. I love that movie.
Brad Pitt is like ripped in that movie,
Yeah.
like
Brad Pitt is a hottie.
6-pack abs,
Yeah.
like probably didn't drink water for a day to get them to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
No. Yeah, I do.
But you get the point that I'm making. Like that
Mhm.
seems like it's like the pinnacle of performance or like something we should look up to.
Yeah.
But now as like we keep going down this path, it's like it's not mainstream media even anymore. I think that's pushing the messages. It's you're getting it from influencers
Mm-hmm.
who maybe probably are using steroids.
Yeah.
And it kind of blurs the line of like, is this realistically attainable for me or is
Mhm.
this not?
I mean, yeah, I think that's fascinating too. And I think it's like we get these there's two things I want to say. First, we get these messages of what our body is supposed to look like from people generally whose whole job it is to make their body look a certain way.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking about like fitness influencers, we're talking about actors, like they are paid the big bucks
Mm-hmm.
to look a certain way. Like you or I, Drew, like we're not in the gym for 7 hours a day
Right.
training to look a certain way
Mhm.
for a role or training because that's our, job to get sponsorships on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like you got other shit to do. Second of all, I think this idea of like artificial performance enhancing drugs and then also like body changing drugs, weight loss drugs, cosmetic surgery
Yeah.
enters into a really interesting like side of this conversation
Mhm.
about body image. And I think I'm gonna go on my soapbox for a minute.
Okay, do it. It's early, but I'm ready.
Okay. Okay. Ozempic, like GLP-1s. I think that like we've seen lately this huge push in more and more people are using weight loss drugs and choosing that path for themselves. And I absolutely think that like if that's something that you want to do, so maybe something you need to do health wise, like medical health wise, or it's something that you want to do. I think there's a strong case I think to be made for like you have agency over your body and you should be able to do what you want with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily trying to shade like any one particular person who's like made the choice to use Ozempic or Mounjaro or Wegovy or whatever other thing. I also think it is worth reflecting on why you're doing that and why do you feel pressure? Like, why do you feel that it's important to do that?
Mhm.
Because, and I'm not talking about people who are using them for like a genuine medical reason.
Mhm.
Like if you're pre-diabetic and you're prescribed those drugs by your provider in order to like combat your pre-diabetes, that's a great use, right? That's awesome that we have the drugs to be able to do that kind of thing. But if you are like using them exclusively to try to lose weight and it's not really related to like medical health, why are you trying to change your body? Like really, what is the kernel of that decision? I think it is important to think about that.
Mhm.
I also think, and this is where I think it gets into a little bit of a sticky wicket, I think that my opinion is that if you are using weight loss drugs, that you should be upfront about it.
Mhm.
And I think this is especially important with people who have a big like platform, like, celebrities. But I also think it's important in like a smaller community basis. Like if you are using, like if you're a mom and you're using GLP-1s, like you should be open about that with your children and or your, other people that because otherwise like you're presenting this false image of like, oh, you just need to work out and eat healthy and you can look like this too. And that's not real. And I think it's really dangerous, especially for like young girls and women to get that messaging to say like, all you need to do is XYZ and you can achieve this. And we've had that messaging for so long, not necessarily in the sense of Ozempic, like, but all the time, the women who are on the covers of like fitness magazines who are like, here's 24 recipes that'll make you lose 10 pounds in 3 days. Like, that woman probably was not on that crash diet, right?
Right.
So I guess this is all just to say that like, I think that being transparent about how you're making change in your body it is important. And I understand like privacy, but I also think that like we kind of have like a responsibility to look out for others and look out for young people who can be really like negatively influenced by those things. Because I know I was as a kid.
Yeah. I think that's well said. I mean, it's transparency and then it's reflection
Yeah,
about the real reasoning behind why you're wanting to pursue those medications in the first place.
totally. Well, okay. So I guess to put it on a little bit of a lighter note, Drew,
Mhm.
or like a little more of a positive side to
Yeah.
body image, when do you feel like good or at home in your body?
This is such a hard question for me to answer. I think because a lot of times it depends on the day for me.
Mhm.
And like, I think because I'm a person who like deals with depression,
Yeah.
that also can kind of be like tied into this. So I would say like if we're gonna put that to the side,
Mhm.
and well maybe not even put it to the side, that might be the first part because I think your body and your mind are closely tied together.
Right.
So I think step one is like I'm in a good place mentally,
Mm-hmm.
and then if I'm in a good place mentally, I think everything else kind of lines up. Honestly,
Yeah.
like we've said before, the different dimensions of wellness are so intertwined with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if you're not in a great place mentally, I think it's really hard to feel good about yourself physically,
Totally.
even if you're high performing.
Totally.
So, for me at least, I would say I need to be in a good place mentally. And also, maybe to add one physical element to this, I think when I'm moving my body consistently,
Yeah.
I think if I can, like, move my body, do things that I like to do, fuel my body with foods that make me feel good
Yeah.
and that I enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
right? They kind of need to go hand in hand with each other. And then if I'm in a good place mentally, those three things together, I think are a good combo for me. But what about you?
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think that in terms of feeling at home or good about myself, good in my body, I, I am more and more like letting go of the idea that I am going to achieve like all the time body positivity. I think
Hmm.
that is not like a reasonable goal for me. What I would like to achieve is more of like a body neutrality.
I like that.
Um, and just this idea that I think when I feel most at home in my body is when I'm not thinking about my body.
Right.
So if I'm on a diet or if I'm like restricting or if I'm counting calories, like if you're doing those things, like, I don't know, maybe you have a reason, but like, is it serving your mental health as well as your physical health? That's what I would ask you. Um, but yes, for me, when I'm doing those things, like I don't feel at home in my body because I feel so hyper fixated on it.
Yeah.
So I think like when I do feel comfortable in it is, I'm wearing comfortable clothes,
Hmm.
right? I am in a good place, like mental health wise. And I'm, yeah, like have more of like a vibes based approach, I think, to like eating and exercising that makes me feel good and that I enjoy
Hmm.
and is not punishment and is not restriction.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like similarly, I think what I need to achieve to feel good.
I like that.
Yeah. So what about like, as we get older,
Mhm.
we've talked about like those images we received when we were younger. As we've gotten older, how has your body image kind of changed with time?
I think I'm in my 30s to be transparent,
Mhm.
right? So as I've
You
made
look young and spry.
thank you. So as I've made the transition through like a few different phases of like my adolescence into my early adulthood into like what I would just categorize as like adulthood now
Yeah.
that I'm in, I think the view that I have of myself has continued to evolve with that. And I think as I continue to get older, my susceptibility to societal pressures, I would say, has decreased.
Yeah.
I've become more self assured and confident in my body. And also, I think I understand my body a lot more than I did when I was
Mm.
younger. I think I did a lot of experiments when I was younger of trying to like see what I could do to change my body.
Mhm.
Specifically, what happens if I eat more? What
Yeah.
happens if I lift weights? What happens if I swim? What happens if I do all of these things trying to and again, the goal of this is like, oh, I want this like amazing physique.
Yeah.
Right? But I think I tested the boundaries of what was possible, and ultimately what I realized, and I've said this before, is like you can work with your body, or you can fight against your body.
Yes.
And I have found that like through those experiments, you're fighting against your body in a lot of those cases. And you might not end up at the ideal, quote unquote,
Yeah.
destination that you previously wanted to try and reach. But I think you can get pretty close
Sure.
if you work with your body and you respect your body and you treat it well and you treat yourself with kindness.
I totally agree. I mean, I think that like definitely think as we get older, hopefully we're like less susceptible to societal pressures for sure. I also think that you have a little more like choice, or I found that you have a little more choice as you get older as to like what media you consume
Yeah.
to a point,
Mhm.
and also the people you surround yourself with. So I think that as I've gotten older too, like I have been more selective about like my friends and people that I spend time with, and I don't want to spend time with people who are like super, super on like a quest to be skinny or to like work out every single day or whatever, like people who are super on these quests to have a certain body type, like I that's not good for me to be like
Mhm.
surrounded by that. So I those are not my people. So I think that part of it also is like I've had a movement in a positive direction in body image because of who I surround myself with and just like being more kind of conscious of that kind of stuff as I get older.
Yeah.
I think community really does play into this.
What's a belief about your body that you've had to unlearn?
What haven't I had to unlearn? Um, a belief about my body I've had to unlearn. I mean, I grew up my whole life going to like the pediatrician and I was like obese on the BMI scale. So I think for a long time, and BMI is so fucked up. And like that's a whole, I could go on a whole separate rant about
Mhm.
the BMI system being completely and totally fucked and not relevant.
Mhm.
um, and especially not relevant for women, by the way. But like I, for a long time, had this belief that I was like, that my body was like gross and that I was like obese and that was gross and that being, that I was like fat and that was yucky and like people weren't going to like me because of my body.
Mhm.
And I don't, I hate to even like say that out loud because I don't want someone to be like, oh yeah, like, that is true or that's what it's like. But I don't believe that about myself anymore. And I think that was really hard to unlearn because those things get so like deeply rooted, right? I think that, um, I think another belief about my body, and this is like less on the like fat phobia front, but we're going to call this section of the podcast the um, booby corner. um, I'm a proud member. Actually, there's an actress in Bridgerton who says this, Nicola Coughlan, and she's like, I'm a proud member of the perfect breasts community. And I'm also a proud member of the perfect breasts community um, and the big titty committee. But for a long time, and I'm still working on this one, but for a long time, I've had big boobs since I had boobs. Um, and for a long time, I think I got a lot of messaging from my family as well as from like media and other people that like having like that my boobs just like being here were like slutty.
Mhm.
But like, here's the thing, and other like big titty girls are going to get it. Like, where the fuck else am I going to put them? You like, no, I mean, I'm being so serious. Like, okay, right now I'm wearing a sweater. So like they're covered up. But like if I'm wearing a shirt that is not up to my neck, you can see them because where else are they gonna go?
Yeah.
Like they're out. And you know what else? They're fucking hot. Like, so I think that that's like something that I'm still trying to unlearn is that like I feel comfortable having my cleavage on display, right?
Mhm.
I like it. Like that's a part of my body that I like. And you know what? It has helped me reel in some incredible men like my husband and women. Drew's slow clapping.
I am. I feel like there's like smoke coming off that mic.
No, but I I do think this is important because I think that there is a lot of dialogue about like women's bodies being inappropriate
Mhm.
or like women dressing in a way that shows off their body and that being inappropriate. And my perspective is that it's not inappropriate. It's your body. Like
Yeah.
it's the most natural thing. We were born this way. I mean, some of them aren't natural. Mine are, but some people don't. But that's fine. Still show them off. Sorry, tangent.
This concludes.
No, so I guess I'm just trying to say that like I'm trying to be more comfortable in my body. Like having your tits out doesn't mean you're a slut. It doesn't mean you're like promiscuous. It's beautiful. Like our bodies are amazing and women's bodies can do so many like incredible things. And yet we get all this pushback on like what we're supposed to wear and look like and, be thin and like you don't want to be flat chested, but you don't want to have giant boobs either. Like you're
Mhm.
like searching for this perfect.
Yeah.
But it's not even perfect and it
Well,
doesn't exist. It's like, it's such a farce.
you opened an interesting door, I think.
Yeah.
That body image, and up until now we've been talking about it in the context of like weight,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think bringing up like cleavage opens the door to other areas of like conversation about body image, like, I don't know, like your skin, your
Yeah.
hair, like
Mm-hmm.
the way that you dress. All of these things are kind of tied up in this holistic view of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it is all tied together in the sense that like society, and this word is confusing because we're referring to like this kind of larger like they, right?
Mm-hmm.
They, people, other people, like are passing judgment,
Mm-hmm.
right? But also, this is the thing that I've really had to learn as well. No one is paying as much attention to you and your body as you are paying to yourself, right?
Mic drop.
I'm so serious.
Yeah.
It's like I remember I used to be like I would feel really like anxious to go for a run in the daylight
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like my body jiggled when I ran, like my stomach or like my legs or whatever would like jiggle when I ran, and I was like embarrassed by that. So I like didn't want people to see it. So I would go for runs at night. And first of all, that's so fucking sad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but also like it took some time in therapy to learn like no no one is paying attention. Like it's kind of like that's in your head that people are like looking at you and judging you. I've never once looked at someone running and been like, oh my God, her thighs jiggle. No, never.
Mm-mm.
If I have a thought about someone running, it's like, okay, slay, she's running. Like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, get it. You know,
Yeah.
like I think it's so hard because we're so like we're so attuned to these societal messages, but on like a one-to-one like interpersonal basis, no one is stressing about it,
Mm-hmm.
about your body as much as you are. They're busy stressing about their own body.
And if they are stressing about your body, they're probably not somebody that you want in your life.
That's also so true. Like really, if someone's gonna like give you commentary about your body, like fuck them.
Yeah.
Like it's 2026. We're past that shit. I'm passionate about this topic.
You are. I'm so glad that we chose this one this week. So I want to transition slightly
Okay,
into
okay.
some our like tips and tricks
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
How do you care for your body without always making it about appearance?
That's a great question. I think it's kind of like what you were talking about before, Drew, like what makes you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm going to go for a run, like I love running outside. That makes me feel good. Like I want to choose foods that I enjoy, but that also like sit well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like yes, I enjoy like chicken nuggets, but like if I ate fried chicken every day, like that wouldn't feel good. And that has nothing to do with my weight. It like wouldn't feel good in my body. What about you? I know this is something you kind of think about a lot.
It is. And I think I look at it from a slightly different lens than you do. Not all the time, but sometimes. I look at it as like your body is like the thing that you're carrying with you for your whole life.
So true.
Right?
It's your vessel.
You only get one.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might be a Buddhist principle. I can't remember, but it's like treat your body like a temple.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know if I can always treat it like a temple, but I think there's something to be said for you only get one body, treat it well while you go through this life,
Mm-hmm.
and set yourself up for longevity.
Yeah.
So I also think you can go too far with that and become obsessive about it.
For
So
sure.
I want to like preface what I'm saying by saying that you can cause harm by trying to do good. But I think in general, if you're going through life being like, do the foods that I eat make me feel good?
Mm-hmm.
Are there things that I like research shows are good for me in the long term that I should be incorporating into my diet?
Yeah.
Should I be avoiding foods that I know are not good for me as much as I can while also not depriving myself?
Mm-hmm.
I try to do that. And as I'm saying this out loud, it's like there's a lot of cognitive load that comes with that, right? You're like, all right, I need to make sure that I'm like avoiding saturated fats, but also I need to make sure that I'm getting enough protein.
And also I need to eat food that brings me joy and enjoy food as part of community. So I think there's so many different angles to this equation. It is hard. Like I don't think anyone is saying this is easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew, what's a small shift that someone or that you could make this week, you know, to be kinder to your body?
I think stretching is an example of this.
Okay, I like that.
I think we have done really well recently. Well, not really well, but we've done a decent job, I think, at like getting ourselves from like not running at all to running on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that like we almost consistently skip is stretching.
So true.
And
We need to stretch.
when I talk about the longevity piece of this, it's like running is not the most sustainable form of exercise. there are people who run into their old age, but
Sure.
it's hard on your body. And one of the things that we can do to like increase our flexibility, our mobility, which becomes really important when we become older. I'm like on like old, I'm not on Instagram anymore, but when I was on like old person Instagram. Where it's like, how do you make sure that you can still like walk up the stairs at 90? These are the
Yes.
reels that I was watching.
No, but I actually think this longevity framing is a really interesting thing, because I think sometimes it's like you need some kind of focus
Yeah.
with what you're doing with your body. And I think longevity is a great one because it's not about aesthetics.
No, it's not.
I also think that like when you're working toward at least for me, when I'm working toward like a certain physical goal, like I want to run a 10K or I want to run a half marathon, for me, that becomes much easier to separate it from appearance.
Yeah.
Because it's such a tangible, like specific, non-aesthetic related goal. So I think like setting goals for yourself and also just like going out of the way, like with stretching, to do something that is going to make your body feel good, like cooking yourself a home cooked meal, you know, like those things feel good. And that's being kind to yourself and investing in yourself.
Yeah. And also like realizing that like, all right, dairy doesn't make me feel good. Like it doesn't mean I'm not going to have like cake with buttercream on it, but it also means that like, and to your annoyance sometimes, when we're cooking dinner during the week, I'm like, I'm going to try and not put dairy into things when I know it's not going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
It might taste good, but then I know after the fact this isn't going to make me feel
Right,
good.
I'm
So
gonna have a
like
stomachache.
in this situation, I'm not going to do it. In a social situation, I'm going to do it. And
Right.
it's very much in the moment that I have to decide.
Totally. I think flexibility is important too. Like it can be really tempting to set very rigid goals for yourself. Like, especially, you know, when I was going through my kidney stuff, right? I was like, okay, I'm only going to have this many milligrams of sodium per day. That's all well and good until you want to go out to eat with friends.
Almost impossible.
Right. And I'm not willing to give up like those social things, but I can be more committed to it at home. And I know that's good for my body and good for my like medical health.
Yeah.
So
You had said this before. You're trying to work toward neutrality if you can't get to positivity. How do you achieve that?
Oh gosh, I mean, I wish I knew. Like, I wish I could come on here and say, like, ladies and men, I've cracked it. I've cracked the code. I've not cracked the code, but I think that like we were kind of saying before, I think it has to do with like changing your focus to feeling good versus looking good, and making your goals like not so centered around aesthetic milestones, if that makes sense. Like I am so done setting like weight goals for myself. I'm so done with it. So like just shifting your focus away from these aesthetic things and more onto how am I feeling? What am I capable of doing? How am I setting myself up for success for the future?
I like that.
Yeah. Did you have anything to add on the body neutrality front?
No, I think you said it well.
Perfect. Well, you know what time it is then.
It's time for the weekly recap.
No,
Oh no,
actually
sorry.
not.
Oh my gosh. It's time for rapid fire.
It's time for rapid fire. Drew, do you want to go first?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1.
Okay.
Just answer, don't think.
Okay.
What outfit do you feel the most confident in?
Leggings and a sweater, baby. That's my go-to. I just feel cozy, like I'm getting a hug from my leggings. I'm nice and warm. I love a good sweater. Winter outfits are my favorite.
I like it. Question 2. Finish the sentence. My body deserves blank.
Nourishment.
Love.
Yeah. That's what I have to say about that.
So well said.
Okay, Drew. Rapid fire.
Okay.
Only answering, no thinking. Favorite form of movement right now?
I'm going to say running. Yeah.
We've been slaying the running game.
Yeah. I don't like it all the time, but I like having done it.
Yeah.
And I would say about half the time I like doing it when I'm actually doing it.
We always feel good after.
Yes.
Okay, last rapid fire question. Rest or push through?
It depends on the day.
Okay.
And it depends on your body.
Okay.
I think it's very important, and I'm a huge proponent of resting when your body needs rest.
Totally.
I also think that we can and should do hard things.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to push through.
Sometimes you have to push through. And it's the moments that, I'm going to get on my soapbox. It's the moments that you push through that you experience growth.
I love that. Again, expect to see that on Instagram this week.
All right. So now we're going to transition into the weekly recap.
It's actually time for the weekly recap. As always, we are going to start with the physical dimension. Drew, would you like to kick us off?
I went for a single run.
Nice. I love that.
That's it.
I went for 2 runs, but I feel like the most important thing was that we got back to running outside
Yes.
after the snow kind of started to melt, and we did like some weird, like
We've just been going in a weird like snake loop through our neighborhood.
Yeah, like some of the
Not on
sidewalks
the
still,
sidewalk.
yeah, are not plowed. So we've kind of just been, vibes based running.
We're doing our best. I think
Yes.
we're, your GPS can't necessarily keep up with us.
Yes, it's a little bit like by the seat of our pants.
Yeah.
But we're making it happen. We're getting out there. We're getting in some movement.
Emotional.
Did some journaling.
I did therapy.
Nice. I love that for you. Okay, what about social?
We had a really nice date night.
Yeah, we
We
did.
did. We went to a restaurant in Baltimore called Tapas Teatro.
I freaking love this place. I love tapas in general. Like sharing appetizers is my
Elite.
favorite form of eating.
It's so good because you get to try so many different things. Yes. Okay.
I'm telling you, I really have cracked the code on this. Yeah. I've cracked the code on eating out. I've not cracked the code on being nice to myself, but I have cracked the code on eating out.
I will say though, eating out with you has become like a journey since we've known each other because I don't eat meat.
Yes, that's
and
so
you
true.
eat meat. So often
I sometimes eat meat.
in sharing situations,
Mhm.
in the beginning, you were very like, I always want to share.
Yeah.
And now as we've gotten like more comfortable with each other, you're like, I actually don't want to share. And this is the meal that I would like, which I also think is awesome.
Listen, sometimes I just like want chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does make the tapas ordering a little bit more difficult,
I
but
feel like when we're doing a meal where we're like knowing we're gonna
Yes.
share it, then we do it all vegetarian or pescatarian.
Yeah.
But yes, when we're having like our own mains, I do go off script.
yeah, you get that main. All right. Next is intellectual.
I actually didn't.
Oh,
do my
sorry.
social ones.
Give me your social.
Well, I was also present on our date night, and I also talked on the phone to my friend Lee and my brother Alex.
Awesome.
Super fun.
Now we're doing
Yeah.
intellectual.
My intellectual one is that I am still reading The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Here it is. It's thick, and I'm gonna hold it up like sideways so the people watching the video can see. This is a thick book. It was actually, I said the page number wrong in our last episode. It was actually 771 pages.
Wow.
Yep. So just trekking through that.
I just want to point out that I'm outpacing you for reading books this year.
This is crazy, but I also would like to point out that this book is so long and has very tiny type. Okay. What was
Maybe
your-
if we're equal.
What was your intellectual?
You have previously said that consuming art is also a form of creative expression.
Hell yeah.
So,
Are we on intellectual though?
we are on intellectual.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay. All right. So I have continued reading The Great Believers by Rebecca Mackay. That's right here. If you're curious what the cover looks like.
Okay, now tell us your creative.
All right. My creative is that as a part of our date night,
Mhm.
we saw the movie Hamnet.
Yeah.
We are currently trying to get through all of the Best Picture Oscar nominations.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we did see Hamnet. I actually didn't really love that one. But we also, this is my creative as well, we also watched Frankenstein and One Battle After Another
Mm-hmm.
in our Oscar movie like marathon.
Yes.
So I think we still have 5 to go.
We do. We got to
but-
pick it up.
Yeah. And then we also made some fun like Super Bowl snacks.
Mm-hmm.
That was a part of my creative as well.
Nice.
What about your financial dimension?
Nothing. It was a bad week.
It's okay. Bring it back next week.
Yeah. What about you?
I actually did do a bunch of stuff for my financial dimension. I have like a big stack of bills in the kitchen. So I
Mhm.
paid like most of the bills in my stack. So that was like tolls, medical bills. And then I also added my money to my high yield savings account for February.
Slay.
Yeah. I'm almost halfway to my emergency fund goal that I set for that account.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that.
And then we have occupational next.
I onboarded 2 new clients for Right HQ, which
Mhm.
I kind of like hate onboarding new clients, but I also like making more money.
Yeah. That'll do it.
What about you?
This is another one where I didn't do anything outside of just my normal job.
But sometimes your normal job takes like a lot of energy.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
And then the last one is environmental.
You can go first.
We had the cleaners come.
Yeah. I love having the cleaners come. And of course, in preparation for the cleaners coming, I folded a lot of laundry. That was part of mine. My other environmental one was that we went to the like emissions kiosk to
Oh, yeah,
do
we did.
to do my like emissions test for my car. This is long overdue. I do struggle sometimes with executive functioning. But we did it. My car passed. This is great news because I'm one step closer to getting the flags removed from my registration. Yay.
All right. So how are you feeling this week?
I think it was a pretty solid effort. I checked off all my dimensions, like no shade that you didn't do yours.
Just gonna leave.
No, but I checked off all of mine and I felt good about them. And I think this is more and more becoming like habitual
Mm-hmm.
for me. What about
Great.
you?
I'm feeling okay. I think I could have done better in the dimensions that I missed, but the dimensions that I did do, I feel really good about. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for today.
it wraps us up. As always, like, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Really appreciate it.
We can't wait to talk to you next week. We'll see you then.